Imagine this, it's 2 a.m., and the only sound in the room is the faint hum of the air conditioner. You're tossing and turning in bed, your jaw throbbing with a pain that radiates from that one problematic tooth. You've been ignoring the dull ache for days, thinking it will go away on its own, just like it has before. But now, the pain is sharp, relentless, as if there's a tiny inferno burning deep within your gum. You pop a couple of painkillers, hoping they'll dull the agony enough for you to get some sleep. And miraculously, after what feels like an eternity, the pain subsides, and you drift off into a fitful slumber. The next morning, the pain is gone. You breathe a sigh of relief, thinking the worst is over. But here's the thing. What if that moment of relief is actually a trap? What if the absence of pain isn't a sign that your body has healed, but rather a silent signal that something far more dangerous is brewing beneath the surface? You see, our brains are wired to seek comfort in the absence of discomfort. We assume that when the pain stops, the problem is solved. But when it comes to tooth infections, this assumption could be the deadliest mistake you ever make. Think about it. Your mouth is a gateway to the rest of your body. Every time you eat, speak, or even breathe, bacteria enter your oral cavity. Normally, your immune system keeps these bacteria in check, preventing them from causing serious harm. But when a tooth becomes infected, whether from a deep cavity, a cracked tooth, or gum disease, that delicate balance is disrupted. The bacteria start to multiply, creating an abscess that can spread if left untreated. But here's the paradox. Tooth infections often start quietly. There's no dramatic fanfare, no flashing warning signs, just a slight ache that comes and goes, easy to dismiss in the hustle and bustle of daily life. You might think, I'll deal with it later, or it's just a toothache, it can't be that bad. But what if I told you that this seemingly minor issue could set off a chain of events that threatens your very life? How is that possible? After all, teeth are just, well, teeth. They are meant to help us chew food, not pose a threat to our existence. But the truth is, your mouth is teeming with over 700 different types of bacteria. Most of them are harmless, but when an infection takes hold, these bacteria can become deadly invaders. They can travel through your bloodstream, spreading to other parts of your body, your heart, your brain, your lungs, and cause infections that are far more serious than a simple toothache. So, let's go back to that moment when the pain disappeared. You might think you're in the clear, but in reality, you could be in more danger than ever. The pain was your body's way of telling you something was wrong. When it stops, it doesn't mean the problem has gone away. It could mean that your nerves have been damaged, or that the infection has spread to a point where your body can no longer send those pain signals. It's like a fire that's been smoldering beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to erupt into a full-blown blaze. This is the silent killer we're talking about, a tooth infection that starts as a minor annoyance, but can evolve into a life-threatening emergency if ignored. And the scariest part, the timeline is different for everyone. For some, the progression might be slow, taking weeks or even months to become dangerous. For others, especially those with weakened immune systems, like pregnant women, diabetics, or people with chronic illnesses, the clock is ticking much faster. So here's the question that should be keeping you up at night. How do you know when to take action? How do you distinguish between a minor toothache that will go away on its own and a potentially deadly infection that needs immediate medical attention? And more importantly, what happens if you get it wrong? The answer lies in understanding the delicate balance between your body's defense mechanisms and the relentless advance of infection. It's a race against time, a battle between your immune system and the bacteria that threaten to take over. And in this battle, every second counts. So, if you've ever ignored a toothache, thinking it was just a minor inconvenience, this is your wake-up call. Because the truth is, tooth infections are not to be taken lightly. They're not just about painful visits to the dentist. They're about protecting your life. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the science behind tooth infections, exploring how they start, how they spread, and why they can be so dangerous. We'll uncover the hidden risks that many people are unaware of and shed light on the warning signs that should never be ignored. So, stay with us as we unravel the mystery of tooth infections and learn how to protect yourself from their deadly consequences. Now, let's pull back the curtain on what's really happening inside your mouth when that infection takes root. You see, your mouth isn't just a passive part of your body. It's a bustling ecosystem, home to 1 trillion microorganisms that form what scientists call the oral microbiome. In a healthy mouth, these bacteria live in a delicate balance. Some help break down food, others ward off harmful invaders, and together they form a protective barrier along your gums and teeth. But when a crack in your tooth, a deep cavity or gum recession creates a weak spot, that balance shatters. Think of it like a fortress with a crumbling wall. The moment bacteria breach the enamel, the hardest substance in your body, they enter the soft, nutrient-rich dental pulp where nerves and blood vessels drive. Here, in this warm, mossy environment, they start to multiply exponentially. Within hours, they're not just harrowing neighbors anymore. They are an invading army, releasing toxins that eat away at surrounding tissues. Your immune system, ever the vigilant sentinel, sends in white blood cells to fight back. This is why you feel that throbbing pain. It's the sound of battle, as immune cells clash with bacteria, releasing chemicals that inflame the tissues and press against sensitive nerves. But here's the crucial twist. The pain you feel is both a warning and a time limit. In a healthy body, this immune response should contain the infection. If you act fast, antibiotics can help your immune system defeat the bacteria, and a dentist can remove the infected tissue to seal the breach. But if you ignore that pain, 2 dangerous things happen. First, the bacteria adapt. They form something called a biofilm, a sticky, protective matrix that makes them up to 1,000 times more resistant to antibiotics and immune cells. It's like they've built a shield, turning your body's defenses into little more than a nuisance. Second, the infection starts to spread. How? Your teeth are connected to the rest of your body by a network of tiny blood vessels and lymphatic channels. Once bacteria enter the bloodstream, they become what doctors call septic emboli, little clusters of infection that float through your veins, looking for weak spots. For most people, a healthy immune system can catch these emboli before they cause trouble. But if you're pregnant, have diabetes, or a weakened immune system, those defenses are compromised. In pregnant women, hormonal changes can make gums more susceptible to infection, and the body's immune response is dialed down to protect the fetus, meaning bacteria can slip through more easily. In diabetics, high blood sugar creates a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, while poor circulation slows down the delivery of immune cells to the infection site. This is why the time to danger varies so dramatically. For a young, healthy person, the infection might take weeks to spread beyond the jaw. But for someone with uncontrolled diabetes, that same infection could reach the bloodstream in days. And once it does, the consequences are not just local, they are systemic. Let's talk about sepsis, the body's extreme response to infection. When bacteria flood the bloodstream, your immune system goes into overdrive, releasing cytokines that cause widespread inflammation. Your blood pressure plummets, your organs start to fail, and without immediate treatment, sepsis can kill in a matter of hours. But sepsis isn't the only threat. Bacteria from a tooth infection can also settle in your heart, causing a condition called endocarditis, where they form deadly growths on the heart valves. Or they might travel to your brain, creating a brain abscess, a pocket of infection that can lead to seizures, stroke, or permanent brain damage. These aren't rare horror stories. They're documented medical realities. In one study, researchers found that untreated tooth infections were a significant risk factor for sepsis-related hospitalizations, with diabetics being 12 times more likely to develop life-threatening complications. And here's the cognitive trap most people fall into. When the pain stops, you assume the battle is won. But in reality, it might mean your nerves have been destroyed by the infection, or that the abscess has drained into your mouth or throat, creating a false sense of relief. Think of it like a forest fire that seems to have died down, only for embers to smolder underground, ready to reignite when the wind changes. The bacteria are still there, still multiplying, and now they're stealthy moving through your body, exploiting every weakness in your defenses. You might be thinking, but I've had toothaches come and go for years, and nothing bad happened. That's the danger of complacency. Your body is remarkably resilient until it's not. Each time you ignore an infection, you're playing a game of Russian roulette with your immune system. The first time, it might fight back successfully. The second time, it might weaken a little. By the third or fourth time, when stress, illness, or a compromised state lowers your defenses, that minor infection could become the straw that breaks the camel's back. So, the root of the problem isn't just the bacteria. It's the story we tell ourselves about pain and safety. We've been conditioned to separate oral health from overall health, to see a dentist as someone to visit only when something hurts, not as a partner in protecting our entire body. But your mouth is the gateway. What happens there doesn't stay there. Every infection is a gamble, and the house always wins in the end if you keep betting on it will go away. In the next section, we'll step into the shadows of those invisible consequences. The ways this infection can sabotage your body's systems without screaming for attention. We'll explore why your brain tricks you into ignoring the danger, and how cultural myths about toughing it out only make the problem worse. Stay with me, because understanding these hidden forces is the key to surviving the countdown. Now, let's step into the realm of the invisible, the consequences that unfold when you dismiss that infection as just a toothache. Your brain, that master of survival, is wired to prioritize immediate threats over silent, slow-burning dangers. When the pain fades, it triggers a dangerous illusion: relief. Your mind latches onto the absence of discomfort, ignoring the fact that your body's warning system might have been sabotaged. This is the cognitive bias at play. We're hardwired to trust what we feel, not what we can't. So when the throbbing stops, you tell yourself, "See, it was nothing." But beneath the surface, a stealthy invasion is underway. Think of your immune system as an army that's been fighting a prolonged war. At first, it's vigorous, sending waves of white blood cells to the infection site, triggering inflammation to contain the bacteria. But if you don't eliminate the source, that army starts to tire. The bacteria, nested safely in their biofilm fortress, launch periodic attacks, wearing down your defenses. Each time, your body responds with less fury. The inflammation subsides not because the infection is gone, but because your immune system is conserving energy for what it perceives as a minor skirmish. This is why diabetics often experience silent infections. Their immune cells, impaired by high blood sugar, can't mount a strong enough response to signal pain. The infection spreads like a shadow, feeding on the very environment your body created. Then there's the cultural myth we've all absorbed: toothaches are just a part of life. How many times have you heard someone say, "I had an abscess for months, just sucked it up until it went away"? This narrative of stoicism is a death sentence. Your ancestors might have survived untreated infections through sheer luck or robust genetics, but modern life, with its stress, processed diets, and chronic illnesses, has shifted the odds. Today, that harmless abscess is more likely to find a chink in your armor, a stressed liver struggling to filter toxins, a heart already burdened by high blood pressure, or a placenta in a pregnant woman, which offers a direct highway for bacteria to reach the fetus. Let's pull back the curtain on what silent spread looks like. Imagine the abscess in your jaw, a pocket of pus pressing against the bone. Over days, it erodes the jawbone, creating a passage for bacteria to enter the soft tissues of your neck. In a worst-case scenario, this can lead to Ludwig's angina, a life-creating infection of the neck that's sweet so quickly it can block your airway. You won't feel the bone erosion. You might just notice a slight stiffness in your jaw or a vague sense of fatigue. By the time you see the swelling, the infection is already a ticking time bomb. Or consider sepsis, the body's catastrophic overreaction. In its early stages, it mimics the flu. Fatigue chills a mild fever. You might brush it off as just a bug, unaware that your immune system is releasing cytokines that are damaging your organs. As sepsis progresses, your blood pressure plummets, your kidneys start to fail, and your brain fogs over. By the time you're rushed to the ER, the mortality rate is already 30–50%. And all of this can start with a toothache you thought was getting better. For pregnant women, the stakes are doubly terrifying. A 2019 study found that oral infections increase the risk of preterm labor by 70%. Why? The bacteria from a dental abscess don't just stay in your mouth. They cross the placental barrier, triggering inflammation in the uterus. Your body, in a misguided attempt to fight the infection, might induce early labor, believing the fetus is safer outside than in. And for diabetics, the cycle is vicious. High blood sugar feeds bacteria, bacteria cause infections, infections spike blood sugar, creating a feedback loop that spirals out of control. Here's the psychological twist. Your brain is also lying to you about time. When you ignore the infection, days blend into weeks, and the slow, steady progression makes the danger feel abstract. It's the boiling frog paradox. If the threat increases gradually, you don't notice the heat until it's too late. You think, I'll go to the dentist next week, not realizing that next week might be the day the infection breaches your bloodstream. And let's not forget the silent damage to your teeth themselves. The pulp, once infected, can't heal itself. Even if the pain disappears, the nerve inside is dead, turning your tooth into a hollow shell. Bacteria continue to multiply within, slowly dissolving the root from the inside out. One day, you might bite down and feel the tooth crack. By then, extraction might be the only option, and even that carries risks if the infection has spread. You might be thinking, but I'm young and healthy, this won't happen to me. That's the most dangerous thought of all. Healthy people get sepsis from tooth infections too. In 2023, a 28-year-old fitness instructor in London died from sepsis after ignoring a toothache for 2 weeks. Her autopsy showed the infection had spread to her heart and lungs. She was too healthy to think it could kill her. This is the invisible enemy. It doesn't care about your age, your fitness, or your good intentions. It preys on complacency, on the belief that it can't happen to me. The truth is, every time you delay treatment, you're rolling the dice with a pathogen that has evolved to exploit exactly this kind of denial. In the next section, we'll finally confront the solution, but not in the way you expect. We'll break down the false choices between toughing it out and overreacting, and show you the precise, life-saving steps that turn the tide in this battle. But first, understand this. The time you have left isn't measured by the pain you feel. It's measured by the bacteria you can't see, multiplying in the dark. Stay with me, because the next part could be the difference between a close call and a catastrophe. Now, let's talk about how to turn this knowledge into action, because understanding the danger is only half the battle. You need a playbook that feels like a conversation, not a checklist. So let's break it down the way you'd share it with a friend who's just started noticing that nagging toothache. First, let's smash the biggest myth right here. Thinking no pain means no problem. I get it. When that ache fades, your brain sighs with relief and wants to move on. But remember what we talked about earlier. Your nerves can die, the abscess can drain into your throat, and the bacteria just keep multiplying in silence. So instead of waiting for pain to tell you what to do, start watching for the subtle shifts your body is always trying to show you. Let's start with swelling. You wake up one morning and your gum looks puffy. Maybe your cheek feels a little tight when you smile, or your jaw feels stiff when you try to open your mouth wide. That's not just a random inflammation. Imagine that as the infection pushing its way out of the tooth and into the soft tissues around it. It's like the bacteria are expanding their territory. And if you let them camp out there for too long, they'll set up a base camp that's way harder to evict. Then there's that persistent bad taste. You know, that metallic, almost bitter flavor that lingers, especially when you wake up. That's not just morning breath. That's pus from the abscess leaking into your mouth. It's the aftermath of the battle your immune system is losing, because those bacteria have built their little fortress and are now spilling over into your daily life. Don't just brush it off as I need to drink more water. That taste is a direct message from your body saying, hey, something's wrong here. Fever or chills without a clear reason. That's your body's emergency siren. Even a slight temperature rise, like 99.5 degrees F, paired with feeling tired or achy, means bacteria have hit the bloodstream. For my diabetic viewers, this is extra critical. High blood sugar feeds these bacteria, and the infection can spike your blood sugar even more, creating a loop that's hard to break. It's not just a tooth issue anymore. It's a full-body alert. Now, let's talk about the scariest one. Trouble swallowing or breathing. If every sip of coffee feels like it's burning going down, or your throat feels tight like someone's gently squeezing it, the infection has moved to the neck tissues. This is what doctors call Ludwig's angina, and it's no joke. The swelling can block your airway in hours. I don't want you to ever get to that point, so if swallowing starts to hurt, even a little, don't wait until morning. Go to the ER right now. Your brain might say, it's probably just a sore throat, but your body is screaming. This is an emergency. And let's not overlook the little visual cues. Healthy gums are a nice, pinkish peach color, right? If you notice a spot that's gray, bluish, or even just a little paler than the rest, especially near a tooth that's been bothering you, that's tissue death. The infection has killed the gum tissue and is now attacking the jawbone underneath. It's not going to heal on its own. This is the bacteria digging in their heels, and they need a professional to kick them out. Then there's the tooth that feels high or a bit loose. You bite down and it feels like that tooth is sticking out more than the others. Or when you wiggle it gently with your tongue, it moves a little. That's not the tooth getting ready to fall out. That's the infection attacking the fibers that hold it in place. The foundation is weakening, and if you let it go, extraction might be the only option left, and even that comes with risks if the infection has spread. Now, let's talk about time, because timing is everything here. The first 48 hours after pain starts are your golden window. That's when a dentist can usually drain the abscess, prescribe antibiotics, and save the tooth without too much fuss. Wait longer than that, and those bacteria form that biofilm we mentioned, the one that's like a shield against your immune system and antibiotics. It's like they've built a fort, and taking it down requires more effort. If you're hitting the 72-hour mark with swelling or a fever, you're in the danger zone. Even if the pain isn't excruciating, the infection has spread beyond the tooth. You'll likely need a root canal or extraction, and stronger antibiotics. And for my pregnant viewers or anyone with a compromised immune system, this timeline is even more critical. Your body's defenses are either lowered or redirected. So what might be a slow burn for someone else could be a wildfire for you. I know some of you might be thinking, but can't I try home remedies first? Maybe oil pulling or salt water. Listen, those can help with symptoms. They might ease the pain a little, make your mouth feel better temporarily, but they don't touch the infection at its root. It's like putting a bandage on a leaky pipe. It might slow the drip, but the pipe is still broken. The only way to truly fix this is with professional care. A dentist needs to remove the infected tissue, drain the abscess, and sometimes prescribe antibiotics to fight the spread. For my diabetic friends, every toothache is a priority. Call your dentist and your endocrinologist. They might need to adjust your diabetes meds while you're on antibiotics, because infections can throw your blood sugar out of whack. Pregnant women, don't wait for pain. If you notice your gums bleeding more than usual, that's a sign of pregnancy gingivitis, which can escalate quickly. Find a dentist who specializes in prenatal care. They'll know exactly how to handle it without risk to you or the baby. And if you're undergoing chemo or have an autoimmune condition, you can't afford to wait even a day. Your immune system is already in overdrive. Don't give bacteria a head start. Here's how to act when it happens. The second you feel that twinge, take a mental snapshot. When did it start? Is there swelling? A bad taste? Fever? Write it down or note it in your phone. Then call your dentist right away. Say something like, I have a toothache that started last night and my gum is swollen. I think it might be infected. Can I come in today? Most dentists keep emergency slots open for this exact reason. If it's after hours or they can't see you, go to urgent care or the ER. I know ERs can be intimidating, but when it's 2 a.m. and your jaw is throbbing, it's better to be safe than to spend the night wondering if it'll get worse. And once you get treatment, finish the antibiotics. Even if you feel better after a couple of days, those pills are there to wipe out every last bacterium. Stopping early leaves the strongest ones alive, and they'll come back stronger next time. Trust me, you don't want to deal with antibiotic-resistant bacteria in your mouth. Lastly, let's reframe how we see dental visits. They're not just for when something hurts. They're check-ins for your entire body. Every 6 months, go for a cleaning and exam. Your dentist can spot tiny cracks, early gum inflammation, or subtle signs of infection before you ever feel pain. For high-risk groups, this isn't optional. It's like having a security system for your body, catching threats before they turn into emergencies. I get it. This can feel a lot to take in. But here's the core of it. Your mouth is a gateway to your entire body. What happens there doesn't stay there. The next time you feel that ache, don't ask, "Can I ignore this?" Ask, "What happens if I do?" Because you now know the answer isn't just about a tooth. It's about your heart, your brain, your ability to breathe easy. You're not overreacting by taking this seriously. You're being the hero of your own story. So the next time pain whispers in your mouth, listen with the wisdom of someone who knows the battle happening beneath the surface. You're not alone in this. Millions of people have faced this and won, simply by acting when their body gave them a signal. You have the power to turn this from a potential crisis into a story of resilience. Now go ahead, pick up the phone and schedule that dentist appointment. Your future self will thank you.